All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live here with you on a Thursday. What a Thursday it is. The opening round of the NCAA tournament. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian getting you ready for all of tonight's action and really the action right now because there is tons of it going on. Doug, happy Thursday to you here. And it is wild and woolly right now. Let's just start here, Doug. I'm going to get right into it. Why waste the time? Number one Duke is down 11 at the half to Siena out of the MAC. 43-32 at the half. We'll get the updated numbers here at Bet Rivers for you. But and we've got some upsets already that I'll tell you about. But that is the stunner right now here for us, Doug.
Very few things can supersede us nailing a daily double. But Duke, which can unite the country if Duke loses, would certainly be interesting. I don't believe the other 2 1 seeds, Virginia and Purdue, were the number 1 overall seed. So this could be certainly history here. But the second half line, not short, 18 for the Blue Devils. Look, even Siena live on the live line right now is quite the payout. So it's really at plus 320, and they're up 11. I think it's fascinating. I touched on it yesterday. Siena was one of my favorite plays. I just thought the number was too high. Now, I'm no genius because if Duke was 18, I would have had Duke as my favorite play, right? I just thought the number 28.5, whatever it was obscene. But I think Cinderella's back, right? We've had some upsets we'll get into, but we were worried that it was going to be chalk. Looks like last year was really just an outlier in the first couple rounds. I think we're back, baby, as George Costanza would say.
We are back. And you know what, Doug? You're right. What an awful job by me. When you hit a daily double the night before, I think I'm just excited because there's so much going on. You have this Duke
losing like this does take precedent.
So now let's get to the real daily double winner last night. Miami of Ohio getting involved. The over in the Bulls and the Raptors back on top for us last night, Doug. We love it.
Yeah, we got there. Bulls, I think, had like 10 points in the first quarter or something ridiculous, but we got there. Their defense came to play for the daily double. And Miami of Ohio, wire to wire, and really we nailed it because we thought the fact that they had the loss would make them play loose, and they went back to playing their style, and SMU stinks like we thought. So really silver platter by the committee, given the Red Hawks that lame duck of an opponent that really didn't belong in the big dance at all. But I'm just happy because we don't have to be subjected to Miami of Ohio. I told you so. They got there. We'll see what happens the next game, but well done, Carver, taking the marquee game. I'm rarely will I take a marquee game. I'm going to be off the grid, taking some random prop or a garbage NBA game. But it's nice that you treated our audience to a marquee game.
Well, it just felt, we talked about it all week, Doug. It felt too good. Like it felt like the committee was setting them up for success, giving them that dog team in SMU on the other side as well. It just felt, everything felt right. And they'll probably get smashed by Tennessee tomorrow. So not about that. But it was a great night for us there with the daily double. Okay, we know about Siena and Duke. We've touched on that. Let's get everywhere else now. Vandy is up 5 on McNeese. Now, McNeese was leading for most of this first half, Doug. And now Vandy has made a big run here at the end of the first half to get up 5 with just under a minute to go, 38-33. That game not in Portland. I know that game is somewhere because the Wisconsin game was just in Portland. But we do have that first round in the South. TCU, 66-64 winner over Ohio State earlier today in the first game of the day. Nice job. TCU had a 15-point lead at half.
Great game. Great comeback.
Great game there. And TCU gets the job done. Nebraska, first NCAA tournament. Did I get that right, Doug? Ever for Nebraska?
Yeah. They were 0-8. First, they're a basketball school now, kind of like Indiana's now a football school. Hoosiers, Huskers, I should say. And I touched on it. I thought that they would show up. I didn't know if they'd win this big, but I had a feeling they were going to come to play. And Troy was a little too trendy of a dog when the Huskers, I think, would get that second win. They just ran out of gas a little bit at the end of the regular season in the Big Ten.
They certainly did. So a big win for Nebraska there as they will move on. Louisville beat South Florida 83-79. So I wanted to go back and look because I think the biggest lead they had was 19 or 21 early in the second half. The line, of course, the closing line, Doug, was 4.5. South Florida hit a 3 with 5 seconds left to get it to 4. 83-79. So a last second cover for the Bulls. And they were a very trendy pick, Doug. And they made a lot of people happy with that late cover.
And they hit a 3 and then they fouled. And
wow.
Missed both free throws.
Oh, that's sick. I was too involved in this Wisconsin loss to High Point. So this is what we love about March Madness. I came up to the office to do the show, so I'm down to 1 screen instead of 3. And I went to Wisconsin because that's where I had my most things going on, Doug. And sure enough, Wisconsin loses outright to High Point. You get a 5-12 upset. And at the same time, you had that cover catastrophe for Louisville at the end of the South Florida game. March is here, Doug. This is great.
I mean, look, Louisville had a lead of 8 with 3:19 to go. So the fact that they didn't cover 4.5, not crazy. That happens. But they only scored 5 more points in the final 3:19, and that whole sequence of a 3 foul. You got the foul, and you missed both.
How do you miss both? That is
Victor Wembanyama missed both the other night, and after Garland made it from 6 to 4, and Massero sitting there with a live wager of -4.5, up 25, wild. And then Wemby misses both.
That's insane. It really is
just excruciating.
Well, we're on here, Doug. We've had obviously the High Point upset, 11 South Florida cover, 16 Siena. Up 11, McNeese down 3 as a big seed. Does that kind of, as we're about to get into the games that haven't tipped yet, does seeing all this so far today change any of your thinking for later? Or are you just going to stay in that mode that you've been, how you felt about these games is how you felt about them?
Well, I will say the first 4 seeds last year in the first round went like 11-4 or something, whatever that math is, 12-4, 11-5, ATS that is. But it was all wins. And then just McNeese. Remember, they had like that 30-point lead against Clemson, hung on, and then got dusted the next game. Will Wade stinks. I would say it's given me I'm still not convinced 5s are going to lose to the 12s and things like that. Like I do think it's a new era. And I think the reason for that was more the point spreads this year. We had a record average point spread for the 4, the 5, and the 6, and the 3, or whatever it was, right? Highest point spreads they've ever been, all double digits, favorites for the 5s over 12, whatever it was, all those point spread sort of indicators. But if we see a High Point advance, which just happened, let's say McNeese beats Van, things like that, then I would be look into things a little later, and then tomorrow a little differently for sure.
Okay, well, there you go. Let's get into now the rest of today. And that includes North Dakota State and Michigan State, which will be the next game to tip in Buffalo after the Louisville win over South Florida. So we've got about 15, 20 minutes before this game goes off. Michigan State, 16.5 point favorite, 143.5 is the total. We have discussed this a couple of times this week, Doug, and of course the Bison here of North Dakota State getting a lot of points.
Yeah, for me, I'm taking the underdog, and it's really not a bet on the Bison. It's more of a bet against Sparty. I don't like this Michigan State team. I just feel like Izzo's had to work some of his magic to get this team to sort of respond, and I don't like that. I think you need the senior leadership. I think you need, or any leadership. I think you just need a team that you can count on. And you know, when Izzo had to go to the, I don't know, public, airwaves to get Fears to show up. And he did in that game against Michigan, but just to push those buttons and everything, I just think that's a team that's lacking some sort of mettle and whatnot. So I just think it's too many points. But I do think Sparty wins by 9 to 13 points. I think we're just going to have to thread the needle and land the plane on a narrow strip here.
I'm with you here. I'm going to go Bison in this next game. That Michigan State, all points, I agree with you on. It's been kind of a weird year for them. Stuff with Fears is very weird. And 16.5 is a lot of lumber for them. And that the North Dakota State team, they're no slouch. 27-7 this year. They could score a little bit. So let's see if they can put some points up here today. There's one other game in the afternoon session that hasn't tipped either, and that's the Hawaii-Arkansas game, which will start probably in about 20 minutes as well, since thereafter Wisconsin's lost the high point. This is still 15.5 for the Hogs, 160.5. This total gone up a little bit.
So I'm in a contest. I was down between my two best bets, Siena plus the points, and then also this game under. And I went with this game under, down to 158.5. Comes down to this. We know Arkansas wants to get up and down and whatnot, but they're coming off a huge emotional kind of successful tournament run. And I just don't think they're going to be up for this game. Much like I think Purdue is going to have a flat spot. Duke is having one today as well. It's hard to be a kind of the chalk in this first round game and coming off such a nice tournament run. And I think Calipari, that's where he struggles, getting his team prepared, in-game adjustments. So I don't think we're going to see like 100 points out of Arky. I think this could be 80-60. I mean, I really think it could be way under. Now, Hawaii's got pretty good defense. They have some rim protection. And Acuff's fantastic. And if he goes off, he goes off. But we're not trying to go under 141.5. It's 158.5. And I don't think Hawaii can do a whole lot. Now, I have this sort of theory with these big spreads. Like, you know, it's like, oh, Hawaii shoots the three really well. It's like, yeah, when they have like a 6'3" white guy flying at him on the perimeter, not an Arkansas defender. I just feel like the shooting changes. Now, obviously, the playing field's been leveled over the years. And, you know, Hawaii can play with the big boys, and some of these other schools can play with the big boys. But then you get a Troy just getting dusted by Nebraska. It's a different animal. I just think to go over 158.5 with an Arkansas team that will push pace, but Hawaii's not dumb. They're going to try to slow it down. And I just think you need both teams to score a lot for this to go over.
You do need that. And even though, you know, I liked that under in the Wisconsin game earlier, which it didn't like blow over the total either, Doug. I mean, it was 160. It went down from 165 to like 163. It was kind of right in that area. And there was a time, I mean, I looked at the under 8 timeout to see what the live number was, and it was like 159, 160. So I still had a chance with that. Now everything went berserk in the last 3 minutes of the game. And it lost the over, I lost the under, and lost Wisconsin. But it is what it is. Sometimes these games in the last couple of minutes just either get nuts or they get completely slowed down, like TCU and Ohio State. I like this under as well, 158.5. I want to play my rainbows here, Doug, but I can't do it. You know, maybe they get down a little early, and I can maybe get something a little bit more live, and it looks like maybe they can hang around. That's kind of, I'm going to be watching it closely to see if I can jump in with them.
Well, don't you typically like the bows in the favorite role, the short fave?
That too. Like I just feel like there's more of a chance that Arkansas blitzes them, and it's like 22-7 at the under 12 timeout or something, and they're just getting run in this game. Then Hawaii hangs around, but who knows? We've seen some of these other teams hang around so far today, except for Troy. Of course, Troy did not hang around in their game. Let's start the night session. First game at night in Buffalo, number 1 Michigan taking on Howard. We'll go back to VCU. Howard and Michigan, because Doug mentioned this game yesterday. 31.5 for the Wolverines here tonight. 151.5 is the total.
I would say, I mean, this is, the math guys will make fun of me, but I actually think Duke being down double digits at half actually helps Michigan. Because I think it's a wake-up call. And with that being said, I like the Bison here. I think Howard showed incredible athleticism, agility, quickness. I think it's just way too many points. I really do. And this Michigan team with a little bit of injuries, they've just been not dynamic. I think they've failed to cover like their last 4 or 5 straight games. I'm taking Howard on the first half, 18. Ooh. And then also in the game line, you get the backdoor cover. I just think Howard, they can play. They're going to run and they're going to play. I feel like they won't be run out of the gym. I don't think Michigan, now obviously Mara is a monster, but aside from that, they're not going to get housed. I don't think. We'll see. Famous last words.
Always the famous last words here. I thought Howard was pretty impressive the other night against UMBC. Like you said, you saw a little bit of talent, some athleticism out of them. 18.5 for the first half line for it. 70.5 the first half total tonight in that one in Buffalo. Start of the night session. The actual first game of all the night games is going to be in Greenville, where North Carolina and VCU will get together. VCU, like South Florida, Doug, has been a very trendy 11 seed pick here over the last couple of days. North Carolina -2.5. Yes, they are missing Wilson. He's done for the year. 151.5 is the total. A lot of people on VCU, Doug. A lot of people.
Well, and I'm one of them to a certain extent. I think this UNC team's shaky, man. Without Caleb Wilson, like the very low ceiling, and VCU has been really good. I can't believe they only got in the tournament because they won their conference. That's what the committee director said after the brackets was revealed, that they were not in as an at-large, which was surprising. I think they take it to them. I would have made this a coin flip. Look, there's a chip on the shoulder for the mid-majors, and there's a chip some of these conferences are not as great as people think. So, look, the High Point coach just said these teams are avoiding the mid-majors. Miami of Ohio, wanted to play certain teams. Whiskey just got taken down. I think this line should be pick. I think VCU wins the game outright.
VCU outright. For Doug tonight against North Carolina, just after 6:50 East tip, first game of the night in that spot. Let's go next to Penn and Illinois. We got them on the highlighted sheet here. Of course, Fran McCaffrey and the Quakers, winners of the Ivy League, couple of overtime wins for them, taking on Underwood in Illinois. Huge number in a 314, 25.5 tonight for the Fighting Illini.
This is not your typical Ivy League champ. Sometimes we see one that's got one loss in conference play, and they're actually good, like that Yale team that beat Auburn and everything. This Penn team was a 9.5-point underdog to Yale, okay? And they won outright. One of their best players was hurt. He's also out for this game. And then TJ, I'm blanking on the name, went for 44 points in overtime and had those 2 threes at the end of regulation. And he's a former transfer from Duke in Virginia. Just couldn't get on the court, but he's like 6'4" and 6'5", can obviously shoot the lights out. I don't trust Brad Underwood in order to lay this lumber, but Illinois should literally score every time down the court. They should get every offensive rebound. Penn, they have an athletic point guard, and then obviously their shooter, their scorer. But other than that, Fran McCaffrey can only do so much. There is a shot clock. He's not going to pull the 4 corners out from Dean Smith's playbook. I guess I lean Penn because Illinois is just annoying and plays with their food, but they have the number 1 rated offense for a reason, and they have so much size. But those bigs don't want to actually go in the paint, and I think they come to play a little bit, but I still lean Penn.
I'm going Penn, Doug. I just think it's gotten too much. 25.5 is a lot. We know that the Ivy, and you're right, something to consider here. We always talk about how the Ivy League, it gives teams trouble. They cover at the tournament. It's really like everything else, around 50%. Like, it's not that big of a cover angle for them.
Yeah, and Yale didn't cover last year.
And this is, as you mentioned, very key. This is not the best team in the Ivy all year. This is a team that got hot last weekend and won a couple of overtime games. That makes me a little nervous, but the number is so enormous that I think I don't trust Underwood as far as I can throw. I don't trust Underwood at
Which
all.
Is annoying because I think he's a really good coach.
I know, but never.
The execution is terrible.
Never gets it done. Taking the Quakers tonight with the 25.5. I'll have a little fun.
I think Fran gets tossed. You go out in style.
If they're down like 30 with 7 minutes to go in the game, could he give us an old classic Fran McCaffrey moment and get run? That would be great, right? Wouldn't it be great if Fran does that for us? Or what, you remember that he stares down the ref, Doug? That one where he gets right in the guy's face and does that. Oh, it'd be great.
It's great. Look, it's his alma mater. It's a great fit for like little swan song to your career. And
Yeah.
it's not like he's coaching in Siberia. I mean, Ivy League's got some quality coaches. We've seen some nice tournament runs. I love the fit. I'm happy about it.
Late game in Buffalo after Michigan is the 8-9 game between Georgia and St. Louis. The Billikens, of course, had a very strong year in the A10, ranked for a lot of the year, but they were 4-4, Doug, here to close out the season. This Georgia team we have discussed a lot. They can be tough to watch, especially fundamentals. They're a little brain dead sometimes,
Yeah.
but they are a top 20 offense in the country this year.
Yeah, and I'm on the Bulldogs. This is one of my favorite plays. I don't know how St. Louis hangs around. It's going to be a high scoring game. This is one of the highest totals, if not the highest, and I think we're going to go over. But I like Georgia. There's just too much firepower. This St. Louis team's been limping to the finish line. They were dynamic in the A10. I know buddies who had like plus 11 against them, and they were leading at halftime, and St. Louis just goes on these crazy runs and covers. But I think they peaked too early, and I love Robbie Avila. Larry. Now, what's your favorite Avila nickname? Is it Larry Blurred? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Cream, right? As in they spell it with the cream. Cream.
Right,
I think it's the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because that's the one he had at Illinois State that I thought was very
the goggles.
Very yeah,
I mean, Larry Blurred is pretty clever. Steph Blurry's pretty good.
I hadn't heard the Larry Blurred. Yeah, that one I had not. That one I had not heard so far. I'm with you. I think that this is, as much as it pains me to back Georgia, because that they're going to probably take us on a ride tonight, Doug. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
But they have too much. This has got to be too much offense for St. Louis, right? There's just too much offense for them. Are they going to be able to keep up?
I think so. Georgia jumps off the screen. I know they were down 20 or whatever to Ole Miss, but they came all the way back. I mean, they have that just ridiculousness. And I think the Billikens are well coached. That is one good thing. But I just think it's too much over 40 minutes.
It certainly seems that way too. And over 167.5, up and away too, Doug.
I think that's the only way to play it.
95-80 Georgia. Did I write in that area? Get it right? 95-80 somewhere. Big numbers tonight for Georgia and St. Louis. Next, let's go. What do we got? Doug's got this one next. So we'll do Idaho and Houston late night game. Last tip of the night, actually, for these. Houston minus 23.5 at Oklahoma City, 137.5 the total.
Yeah, I took Vandals from 25.5. I think this Houston team they're pretty mediocre. And okay, let's take a step away. They're mediocre by normal Houston or recent Houston teams and by 2 seeds. I don't think they are a true championship contender. I'll tell you why. I think their offense is fine. It's better than some of you. But that defense is not the typical Kelvin Sampson defenses we've seen. I don't think it's this shutdown. Their best team was the one when Jamal Shead got hurt. I mean, and they lost, I think, 56-52 to Duke. But that was their best team when he left the game with a sprained ankle. And then the last couple of years, they've had some doozies where they've been bounced. I don't think this team's that great. I really don't. Now, are they better than Idaho? Of course. But I think this is a game where they could be trailing at half. They play with their food a lot. I'm rolling with the Vandals here.
Vandals late night. Oh, we love the late night games. The final set for you, and it's a lot of points for Idaho here this evening. Texas and BYU, which will be the first game of the day, the first game of the night session in Portland. Excuse me. First game of the night session. BYU minus 2.5. Of course, Texas beat NC State on Tuesday night at the first 4. Sometimes these first 4 teams, Doug, do show up and win a couple of games. We'll see if Texas can do that. Big total, 157.5.
I think the angle with this is Texas first half, right? We've established BYU, although once the tournament started, BYU was good in the first half. But I think UT having a game under its belt kind of understands sort of the rhythm. I just thought the Longhorns I like Sean Miller, but their press break was pathetic. They just threw it to the corner, back-to-back possessions, and turned it over. That's not a sign of a well-coached team. So that has some concern. But overall, I like the coach, and I think UT comes to play. I like them in the first half.
So first half for you for Texas tonight. I do like BYU for the game.
Okay.
I just got a feeling, look, DeBance is going to be probably the top pick no matter what happens here tonight.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And I know the favorite. He's now the favorite.
And I know there's still a debate there, and it's not a done deal or lock it up or anything like that, but I think this is a big tournament night for him. If you're in a state maybe to play his points over, Doug, I feel like he's gonna run it go tonight. Like this, he knows he could be the star of this tournament. Get BYU moving a little bit this evening. They should have a good BYU crowd being in Portland. It's not, not that far. Some of these other teams got to going from Utah up to Portland. So I like BYU for the game, but I can absolutely see Texas in the first half, especially coming off of their win. I think this next game, Doug, is the one game out of all these games the first 2 days that I have absolutely no feel for whatsoever. Texas A&M and St. Mary's, which is the early game in Oklahoma City. Mary's -3.5, 148.5 in the total. I got no clue here, Doug.
Yeah, how about three schools from the West Coast Conference getting in? And you got a favorite here, now down to 2.5 over an SEC school, a conference that produced 10 tournament teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mary's is probably the right side. I really like Randy Bennett. I'm not playing it, though. There could be just a huge athletic gap. No, I'm not involved, but that would be the only side I would play.
It just you just don't know who to trust. And like this Texas A&M team, they are so inconsistent. I don't know what to believe with them at all. Last game tonight, Kennesaw State and Gonzaga. Which will be the late game in Portland. One of the last games of the night, just after 10 o'clock East tip. Gonzaga 20.5. Whatever. I like this over, Doug. 152.5. I think we can go up, and away here tonight. Gonzaga could score lots of points. I think Kennesaw will be able to score some points too.
And why is that? Like, Zags are going to push pace, and
yes.
Tell me about Kennesaw. I guess
this could be it. I'll put it this way: I think this Gonzaga, this could be a good night for them to score 90 points. Like, I think that they're going to be able to score at will on Kennesaw, and I think Kennesaw is going to be able to score just the fact that the pace is going to be so fast for them. So whether this, 90 to 70 gets this right, Doug, 152.5, you're going to get right in that area. So. And maybe that should angle me more towards the Gonzaga team total or something like that. Maybe I should look more in that direction. But I think Gonzaga is going to be able to score whenever they want tonight.
Well, the Zags off a loss. Remember, they lost that game to Portland and then won and covered the next 5 straight games, including beating Portland by 50 or something. But they're off a tournament win now, and they haven't played in a couple of weeks. Remember, it was that Tuesday or Wednesday night a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So I'm a little worried at that, and a little rusted, if you will.
They have a little bit more of a longer layoff than some of these other teams that win these conference tournaments. That is for sure. I did want to just go and see really fast what the Gonzaga team total was tonight. If I can get that up.
You just do some quick math. So it's 76. It's 86.5 probably.
86.5 at -125 to the over. So 86.5 there for them. I think they get there. And maybe that should be more of the way that I play it, Doug. If that's my thinking, that Gonzaga is just going to score that much and leave Kennesaw out of it potentially. But
I'm all for team totals. Like yesterday, I liked the Miami of Ohio because it was the underdog and things like that. But usually if you like the favorite team total over and they're favored by 20, it's okay to go game total over. Sometimes I just split it up. Yesterday, I went half and half. I took the +7.5, and I also took the over 76, 77.5.
Okay. There you go. That is all of tonight's action. Again, 8 more games this evening here. 39-35, Vandy now up as they start the second half with McNeese. And we still have Duke. They shut the Duke game off on me. I think that they're down 2 now, Doug. So I think
so they've cut the gap. Siena hit a 3 and then missed a bunny. And so Duke's got the ball down 3.
And North Dakota State and Michigan State have begun in Buffalo with the second game of the day there. All right, let's do some games for early tomorrow. The day games on Friday, of course, we're on at 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific, but we want to make sure that we got some of the afternoon action. Let's start with this Virginia game. Just after 1:50 p.m. East, Virginia and Wright State. This game will be taking place in Philadelphia. Right now, Virginia, we have 18 for the Cavs here against Wright State, 18.5, 145.5 the total.
So I have a lot of chalk in my bracket, and then I have Virginia Final Four. I don't love
Okay.
this Virginia team. Remember, I've made the joke that someone called them the Patriots of the college basketball because they had a very inflated record because of schedule. I think they're pretty good. I think the offense pops, and my understanding is this could be a blowout. Wright State's not very good at all, so I'm laying it. I'm doing game under, so basically a Wright State team total under is the way to go.
Wright State team total
So that they
under.
come from the horizon, and we like this conference, but
We do.
right, but they're kind of like the Mountain West, like they all beat up each other. So like the top half of the conference is respectable. I think that they're going to get outclassed here.
I came in thinking, Doug, 18.5 was a lot here for Wright State. And
It might be.
maybe that's just because we spent a lot of time. We love the Horizon. We spent a lot of time with them and Bobby Moe and Green Bay with Gottlieb. So we've kind of we've been attached to the Horizon.
We are attached, yeah.
The Horizon and the Mountain West, some of these conferences we've become attached to this year. 63.5 is the team total for Wright State.
So that is kind of low when you factor in actually Virginia pushes pace and everything. And they won the regular season. So they won the regular season and they won the conference tournament as well. And they went through the good teams. I don't think they were even favored going into it. The coach won coach of the year.
Yeah.
I just, I know he didn't go there, but he's from the conference. Jack Golke isn't walking through that door. So.
The madness is here. High Point. I took the 8 at halftime. Nice job by you, Dave, in that game. Can you be on Georgia, Doug? You hate them. David said
I know.
True.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it because they're a bunch of knuckleheads, but they're just St. Louis is not. They peaked in January.
I agree. It's one shining moment, March Madness tournament time, baby. Let's go. That's right, Daryl. It certainly
By
is.
the way, my favorite one shining moment is the year with COVID. They played it, and it's epic editing. It's like empty stands, sad mascots, crying cheerleaders. It's really good.
Oh, boy. I'm glad those days are gone.
Yes.
Really,
I'm glad we can laugh about it now.
I might have fun with Wright State tomorrow, Doug. Maybe it's my Horizon attachment but I might just go ahead and do that. Tennessee State and Iowa State tomorrow afternoon, just after 2:50, probably a little bit later. Game's in St. Louis. It'll be the second game of the day there. More big lumber, 24.5 for the Cyclones, 148.5.
So just take what I took with Houston, what I said about them, and apply it here. I think Iowa State's okay. I just think Hilton Magic skewed their results. I think their upside, obviously their ceiling's really high, but I don't think they're consistent and reliable enough. I think Tennessee State's going to take it to them. I really do. Like these games can get really short. Like if you get to this under 16 timeout and it's like a 9-8 game or something, 7-6. And it's like, okay, you hang around, you're down 7 at half, down 11, first timeout. It's just really hard to get up to 24.5 sometimes. And I don't think the Cyclones have the firepower. I like their bigs because they play within the offense. Not great, but I don't like their guard play. I think Iowa State's pretty limited, and their coach, it's fine. So I liked all the points with Tennessee State.
This is what I worried about with Hawaii, Doug. They're down 9-0 3 minutes into the game. It's just this was the stuff that made you worry about the Rainbow Warriors here, and they already had
on pace to go under. I mean, if one
already
team
had to call a timeout.
If one team doesn't score, then I think it goes under.
When you can't even get to the first under 16 media timeout, and you got to call a timeout, Doug, you got a problem. All right, you're off to a bad start if you got to use a timeout before the first media timeout, and that's what Hawaii just did. So not a good beginning for them here. This next one, Doug, this is my favorite game of the entire first 2 days.
Ooh.
And you have it on your list as well. I think that Utah State is going to take it to Villanova tomorrow. I think that they are going to get all over them. I am so unimpressed with Villanova. This is not something, this is not something where it's recency bias. It's not just the Georgetown game. It's everything else. I think this is a green light go for Utah State, Doug.
So I think the Big East stinks, and they're very top heavy with St. John's and UConn and all these other teams. But see, Nova does play up to its competition at times. They always kind of land around the point spread. I'm with you. The problem is the Aggies are like the western part of the U.S.'s version of Villanova. They are so incredibly inconsistent in that regard. Utah State's best game would blow this team out. You just don't know if you're going to get it from the Aggies. But I think they've been playing so well. They had a great Mountain West tournament run. But then, at home where they have the advantage, the 9-point favorite, they'll lose outright. So it's just a headache. But I do like Utah State here to handle some business. I like that the game's out west, too. I think they're going to be ready for this.
I do. The coach was upset they were a 9. You could just tell there's a lot here. They're the only Mountain West representative this year. They got to fly the flag.
Best bet?
Tomorrow, this is my favorite game of the first 2 days. This is hands down. I know that for us, it doesn't kind of qualify because it's in the afternoon tomorrow.
Right.
But Doug, like you said yesterday with Siena, one of your best bets, one of your favorites this is my favorite. I love Utah State probably more than anything else.
You've kind of hinted at that all week. Yeah, not a poker face. You haven't had a poker face with Utah State.
I have not. Texas Tech and Akron tomorrow afternoon. One of the first games, just after 12:40 East, is when they will get going. This is in Tampa. Texas Tech -7.5, 156.5 the total.
I've been waffling on this. This is going to be a really intriguing game. I can't bet $1 on this game. Okay. Akron's ceiling is really interesting because I think the MAC is better than people realize, and they were the best team, right? I know Miami of Ohio is special, but this was the best team. They lost at Miami of Ohio. They only had one meeting. It's not like they lost at home to them. So that was their only loss, and they won the conference tournament. But Texas Tech's been great, very well coached, and they've played a month or so without Toppin. So it's not like it's a shock to the system on the injury. So I'm okay, sitting back and watching because I think you can make a strong case for either team here with the point spread.
I want to take Akron really bad. This is their 3rd straight year here. I think the coach Grosh is really good.
Yeah.
The number is kind of saying Akron being that it's only 7.5. I go back to Doug, the last 2 years they got worked.
Well, and I'll say this, Akron's got a good coach and everything, but how about that final play? Is that what he drew up? So it was a tie game in the championship game, and then it was like a 35-footer for the 3. Now he hit it, but I can't imagine. So that easily could have gone to overtime, is my point. He shot that at the end of the shot clock. And so I think Miami of Ohio is way better coached than Akron. I thought that just their offensive sets are very elaborate, and all their pick and pops and slip screens and out of a timeout, the backdoor cuts. I don't see that from Akron. I see talent. And pace. But I think Texas Tech is better coached, but I wonder about the gap, and Akron's pretty good. We'll see.
Arizona will also get going early tomorrow, just after 1:35 East in San Diego against the LIU Sharks, and Rod Strickland is the head coach. Big number here, as usual, with the ones, 30.5.
My understanding that this is a beatdown.
LIU is not good.
It's going to be like this Arkansas-Hawaii game.
I could see that. I mean, this LIU, listen, the NEC, it's tough for them.
Yeah.
When they get in the tournament.
Yeah, I think Arizona's just size and length will be just overwhelming. And LIU, thanks for showing up. But people have said that about Duke Siena. So I didn't, but others did. I just think Duke's shorthanded and, off the big ACC tournament. I think Arizona, we'll see if they come to play, but they should get there in their sleep.
Very first game of the day tomorrow is Santa Clara and Kentucky. Talked a little bit.
By the way, that Arizona tip's a little early, right? 10:35 body clock. Don't love that.
Well, that's what I thought that with Wisconsin today, and sure enough, that didn't go fair. Wisconsin lost. Game didn't get under, but Wisconsin did lose going into that situation. Early morning for the LIU Sharks in San Diego.
30.5, such a big number. What am I doing laying that?
Santa Clara and Kentucky, first game of the day tomorrow in St. Louis. Kentucky -3.5, 159.
This Siena game, it's getting real. It's getting real. They're up 5 with under 8 minutes to go.
Wow.
Yeah, they haven't relinquished the lead. I mean, that's the key, right? In terms of this, I don't know what to think of the Broncos. I don't think they're great, but I don't think Kentucky is either. Kentucky's just one of those teams where they were great spot play, right? At Rupp, off a loss. After losing on the road at their opponent, they were the best in the revenge angle. They dusted some teams at home in the revenge angle, but this is a different animal. I like Pope as a coach. I'd have to Kentucky or pass, but I'm in no rush to bet this game.
Yeah, I'm the same way as you right now. A lot of people on Santa Clara, Doug. A lot of people.
They're not that good. They really aren't. They're
Yeah,
well
like,
coached, but they're just not that good.
and this is
Talent-wise.
like kind of the opposite move for them here. And I know they've been there for a day or two, but for them, that's 9:15 low. They're playing a
Yeah.
12:15 East tip in St. Louis against it's just you factor a couple of these things in, and it doesn't sound good for Santa Clara. All right, the only other afternoon game, Hofstra and Alabama in Tampa tomorrow. Second game in Tampa, 3:15 East. Hofstra getting 11.5, 158.5. I think the Storms there could be brewing where maybe Hofstra can have a little surprise here tomorrow, Doug.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about Hofstra, but I know some sharp guys on them. Obviously, with Alabama, the best 3-point shooter, Holloway, by percentage, is out, right? Kicked out of school. I think that's going to affect the team. How can it not? Now, whether it affects them enough for this game, we'll see. I think it's really tough to bet on this team or against this team. Just the high variance of the the analytically driven, high pace 3-pointers or rim shots. That's their offense. I just think there's such a wide range of outcomes. I'd look at Hofstra money line would probably just embrace the variance.
That is what I would be doing. And there could be a run to the New Jersey border later tonight, or the Connecticut.
You get your hair cut again? You're going to the barber again?
New Jersey, the barber shop in the New Jersey. Get the Bet Rivers app up in New Jersey, and get the Hofstra money line going for me, because I think that there's a chance that this is good spot for them. Alabama's had a weird year.
That's what I was going to say. If you want a high money line price to pay out, this is the kind of game. A team that's a little bit in shambles with a guy kicked out of school, a team that has high variance, the team that will play down to anyone. Like, that's exactly the DNA of an upset.
Like, even without him getting kicked out, and look, that's a huge thing. He was a big part of their team. That obviously, but even since the moment this season has begun, it's been a really weird year for Alabama. Like, it's been really strange, and they've been weird. That's just, I had the stuff with the other kid that they brought back from the G League, and Notes is a good coach, but he's a bit of a knucklehead. There's just, it's been a strange year for Alabama, and it's the kind of year that should end getting upset by a 13 seed in the NCAA tournament. Like, I
would agree. I think variance is the name of the game with
Alabama. Cruz Davis, good player for Hofstra. Watch him tomorrow. He could fill it up.
I got good news and bad news for you, Carver, for your Bows. Good news is they're on the board.
Okay, they finally scored.
Bad news is they still only have 2 points.
Now, last thing, the Bows. Last thing I'll mention for these NCAA tournament games. Now, this game isn't going to start by the time we get on tomorrow, but it's 4:25 East. Is Miami of Ohio going to keep the storybook going tomorrow against Tennessee, or is this a smash down for the Vols?
The problem, I think it's just funny because SMU. Are you telling me SMU is only 4 points better than Tennessee? Like, SMU was 7.5.
Yeah,
that's on a neutral. Now this is Philly and Dayton, so it's really like SMU. Maybe if the game were in Philly, would have been like 8.5, right? Because there's a little bit of a home court advantage for the Redbirds, Red Hawks. Excuse me. I think the Vols probably cover, but their offense leaves a lot to be desired. I just think they're going to eat inside. They will absolutely own the glass. And I don't know if Miami of Ohio can shoot like they shot in the last game. I just think the bigs, Australia, and all those guys are just going to dominate the paint. I would probably lay it with UT, but I want to root for Miami.
I want to root for them too, but I think that they won.
I thought this line would be like 16.5. I really did. I was stunned that it came out. It's 11.5. I'm stunned.
11.5 is I think a little light, and I think that could be. And I don't like backing the Vols in this tournament. We've been through that, but this could be a good spot for them. Barnes doesn't screw up till the second weekend now. First weekend,
and their offense a little bit. Gillespie's pretty solid offensively and everything, and they're going to lock down on D. I just think it's a tough D to. I mean, I've said it before. Miami has 5 guys who can shoot 39.5% or better from 3.
Yep.
I mean, you don't know who's going to go off. The guy who was going off last night's like their 5th best guy, right?
I think I almost exactly am going to predict the score of this Arkansas-Hawaii game at the under 12 timeout. And I think it's 17-4 right now. I think 22-6 or 22-7 is what I said. It's 20-7 right now. So I'm almost nailing it to a T.
Can you believe it's trending over? The live line. What do they expect? They're like Arkansas going to put up $140. I mean, what?
I guess so. Minus 24. You get the Rainbows with 24 right now. There you go. All the NCAA tournament action. I'm sure we'll be back to a couple of these in the best bets later on. Siena up 1.
I know it's slipping away. That clock
slipping away. Here comes
move
Duke.
fast enough.
Here comes Duke. Of course, if you like what you see here on Betting Weekly Live, as you should, subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, where you can check us out and all of our other shows, including released earlier today, Betting Weekly EPL. Dan Roebuck, Nigel Seeley, and Jack Wright preview match day 31 in the Premier League, including a look at the League Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester City. Betting Weekly EPL with Dan, Nigel, and Jack. Check it out on the Betting Weekly Studios channel. All right, Doug, NBA, I'm kind of surprised. Usually they go a little light here the first couple of nights of the NCAA tournament. They don't care anymore. 8 games in the association. NBA TV has the Magic and the Hornets tonight in Charlotte, and the Hornets seem like they're back rolling, Doug. Minus 5.5, 226.
Gosh, haven't the Magic played enough on NBA TV over the years? Like they're always in the first round of the playoffs on the NBA TV, the Saturday afternoon game. I don't know what to make of this. The Magic have come back to earth a little bit. They're pretty good, though, and so are the Hornets. I think it's a little too many points. I think it's a few too many points. So I'd have to side with the dog here, just because I wouldn't be shocked if the dog won outright. So why wouldn't I take 5.5? But, Orlando's off back-to-back losses. No Wendell Carter tonight. So I'd roll with the Magic, but the Hornets, man, they're lethal.
They are lethal, the Hornets. The way that they've been scoring, it's just, I mean, they're putting up like $130 every night lately. They are just dropping the hammer on teams as they're now, and they're still only 35 and 34. That's how big of a hole that they had early in the year. Elsewhere this evening, Miami at home for the Lakers tonight. So right now, Heat minus 5.5, 241.5 is the total. And I would have to guess with that line, well, Doncic, Reeves, and James are all GTD, I see here, Doug. Game time decisions for all three of them.
I don't know how you bet anyone but Miami in this spot.
Okay.
Now, the number's gone. It was like 2 overnight, but the Lakers could be shorthanded. They're likely going to become. And Miami, fresh. You got the Lakers off big wins. Back-to-back in Miami. Norm Powell's expected to play. Tyler Hero's supposed to play. The only one that's not is Wiggins and Jaquez. I don't know how you don't play the Miami here.
I almost had it, Doug. 24-7 was the under 12 timeout for Arkansas and Hawaii. 24-7. I think I said 22-6 or 22-7. So I almost had it. Cavs and the Bulls. Had the Bulls in that over last night. Tonight, they're catching 11.5 at home, 238 the total.
I don't know, man. This has got to be another shootout. By the way, the Bulls had 17 points in the first quarter yesterday, and somehow it landed like 250. Still got it. I think this is a shootout. This Cavs defense stinks. Max Strus has been electric off the bench, so that's something to keep in mind. This Cavs defense is not good, and I don't think they care. So it's over is the only way I would play this.
Bucks are in Utah against the Jazz. Bucks are 6-point road favorites at Bet Rivers right now. 229.5 the total.
Bucks. I don't like it, but Bucks. I think this Jazz team is really tanking, and they're really not good. Now, it depends who plays. When they lost in Sacto, they had a garbage lineup. Garbage. I think they've shut down Keontae George too. Like their whole starting lineup is shut down because George isn't going to be reassessed for 2 more weeks. And they're sitting Collier down too, and Sensabaugh. This team is terrible. So Ace Bailey's going to go off. Cody Williams will go off. He had 30 something the other night. So that was against Sacramento, but it's the Bucks. They're playing hard. I mean, they're trying to win, I guess. So they're gonna drill them.
Bucks minus 6 tonight in Utah. The Clippers are in.
I'd say Cody Williams points prop is interesting. Ooh. I think over 13.5 is a banger.
Okay.
The problem is some of these guys are sitting in the fourth quarter, but I think over 13.5 is obscenely low.
Okay. Clippers in New Orleans against the Pelicans.
Like,
Pels
I'd ladder that up, and I think this is my best bet. Cody Williams over 13.5.
Cody Williams over 13.5 tonight. There.
I didn't realize like that many guys sent a ball out, and yeah.
Clippers Pelicans -2, 229 flat this season.
So we just saw the Lakers play the Rockets in Houston back-to-back games, but they had a day off in between, right?
Right.
The Pelicans are just going back-to-back. It's like, it's baseball. Next pitcher on the mound here. Really strange. I think Clippers first quarter is a really good bet. They've been really good since Kawhi got hurt in the first quarter. They had 37 the other night against the Spurs in the first quarter. So I think they jump on the Pels here in the first quarter. I think Garland starts strong, all that good stuff.
Sixers are in Sacramento late night against the Kings. Sixers 2.5-point road favorites. 225.5 the total at Bet Rivers.
Yeah, I think this is an under. God, the Kings are so bad. They really are. Maxi's still out, Embiid's still out, Oubre's still out. Edgecomb's going to go off. You want to know like this? I'll tell you the secret to playing this stupid Kings team. DeRozan's all they got. They have some other guys that are like somewhat interesting, but they're terrible. If you can bet second quarter in advance, which you can, like a team total or the Sixers, but like you can bet the spread, you can bet a team. I would do the Kings team total in the second quarter under if you can do that, or just wait for live.
Okay.
You can do spread, you can do over under, but I don't know if you can do team total in advance. But Kings will have trouble scoring in this game in the second quarter.
There you go. The only other one I'll bring up, and we got pretty much everything. Suns are in San Antonio against the Spurs. Spurs -10, 228 the total.
It's a big number.
That's what I thought.
Phoenix doesn't have a whole lot of size, but they're going to play hard and play to the end. And, I've diagnosed Wemby as tired. So I would have to take the 10 if I did anything.
I guess it would be unfair of me not to mention that the Wizards are getting 14 at home against the Pistons. I guess it wouldn't be fair if I didn't at least mention that they're playing.
This is an interesting handicap, right? Because
didn't they just play and it was 19?
Yeah, but now Cade Cunningham.
That's right.
Going to be out for an extended period of time with a collapsed lung, which I don't really understand how that happened, unless they got the Chargers team doctor. I don't know what to think. I think the Pistons come out on fire in the first quarter. I think they respond. I think it's a little, playing wounded and man down, and let's circle the wagons for our teammate. I do think the Pistons maybe drop the hammer in the first quarter.
Has Duke taken the lead here, Doug? I see 63,
yeah,
61?
Unfortunately, they need to close the game on a 25-0 run in order to cover. But
you would have liked seeing them go down to Siena today, Doug. That
I think I have Duke in the championship game, but I don't care.
I don't care. Sometimes
you don't root for bracket. Who cares?
No, I don't
bracket's
care.
An afterthought.
That's why I'm not as busted up about Wisconsin losing, because we do so many other things now, Doug, that the bracket, that was like 20 years ago was the biggest thing, having the best bracket. Now I got plenty of other things to worry about.
Now I'm worried about Sacramento Kings second quarter team total in the afternoon.
Oh, boy. All right, there you go. NBA tonight. Plenty of games for you. Of course, the Miami Open is going on, and we have the Sunshine Double Profit Boost. The second half of the Sunshine Double, the Miami Open, is underway, and you can enhance your best bet with a generous profit boost from Bet Rivers. Enter the code BW316 in your Bet Rivers app, and you will receive a 100% profit boost to use on any Miami Open bet up to $25. That code again, BW316. Offer ends on March the 29th. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
How your golf plays doing?
We have Jordan Spieth out fast here today.
Spieth is still on the course.
It's still on the course. And now when we started the show, he was 5 under. Okay. He's now 4. He dropped a shot, but he's T4 at 4 under. 3 shots back. Sungjae Im out of nowhere with a 7 under today. How about Brandt Snedeker out there with a 6 under? Man, he'll be 6 over tomorrow.
I think starting off with an eagle's got to be a good thing for Spieth bettors.
Always good to start off with an eagle. That is for sure. So Spieth T4 right now at the Valspar. There is 11 hockey games tonight, Doug. We obviously are doing so much college basketball that I'm not going to dive into every game, but I will tell you the 3 that I like tonight. We'll do that. Islanders in Ottawa against the Senators. plus 116. Senators' second night of a back-to-back. They looked awful in Washington last night against the Capitals. Islanders have won 7 out of 10. They have played well. I like them here as the dog on the road. They were good to us in Toronto. They were favored the other night on the road, but they've been a pretty good road team recently. I'm going to take the Islanders money line tonight in Ottawa.
Okay.
Elsewhere, puck line for the Oilers tonight. Now, we never really talk about tanking in the NHL, but it feels like the Florida Panthers are tanking. They got run by the Vancouver Canucks the other night on this road trip. They have a top 10 protected first rounder that I'm sure they never thought they were going to get to use because they've won the cup the last 3 years. And I think they're losing games. The Oilers, of course, they score plenty of goals. So I'm going to go puck line with the Oilers this evening at home against Florida. Won't be a best
I saw that, and I thought about it.
So I'm going to go.
I got one for you. You want a little narrative NBA betting on the ice?
Yes.
So a little home and home for the Wild and Blackhawks, right?
Yes. Here we go. Give it to me.
How about Blackhawks to score in the first period minus 127?
Okay.
I think the Wild could be trailing after one. I think this is we played with their food. We still got the win. I think they're going to have 1 foot still at home when this game starts, and I don't think they're going to show up at all. I think they're going to need a wake-up call, and it's the Blackhawks going to score first. Ooh. So the 3-way line in the first period is plus 275.
That's,
correct score after one. You can look at some of these.
Dougie Pucks is in deep on this Blackhawk Wild game.
2-0 is 15-1.
What's 1-0? What'd you say 1-0 was at the end?
Plus 540.
It's something to consider.
Both teams to score, plus 160.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't know if the Wild get on the board. I'm more confident in the Hawks.
Wow, the Blackhawks.
It's a total spot play.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with handicap.
Well, you know how annoyed I was the other night with the
Wild. They didn't score again, and they got the overtime. They're going to be – I wouldn't be shocked that they are all hungover. They're not taking this seriously.
And we, of course, need one late night up, and away. And we're going to get that in San Jose with the Sabres and the Sharks.
Yes.
What they play 6-4 in Buffalo about a week and a half ago. Up, and away. But we need the Sabres to win, Doug.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Now. Plus 140 to win the division.
The angle. Lightning are in Vancouver. They're heavy favorites, but at least it's on the road.
Dallas did gain a point on Colorado last night, one in the shootout. So they're only 2 points back of Colorado for that division. And there's plenty of other games this evening if you're interested. Knights are home for Utah. Tampa's in Vancouver, laying an ungodly number. So plenty of other hockey if you would like to be there. No spring training. I don't think we need anything from the UFC fight night. We have so much basketball this weekend, Doug, that we should be good.
Sienna's not putting up a fight anymore. They haven't scored in 6.5 minutes.
What? Oh, my. Haven't scored a point in 6.5 minutes?
They're only down 6. So if they just hit a couple of those threes.
I did play Arkansas minus 13.5. Sorry, Mike. Well, it's okay, Steve. I didn't.
You're covering it right now. The Bows have fought back. They're down 10. They're down 10.
Right? Here they come. I just saw him drop a 3. Look at that.
Yeah, my under's up in flames.
Dude, down 3 with. There you go. The Bows getting involved. Played the Akron Hofstra money line parlay at 31-1. And the best part about that, Steve, is then they would play each other in the second round, Akron and Hofstra. What fun that would be if we're talking about that game for Sunday in the tournament. All right, Doug, it's time. Best bets in the Daily Double. Going for 2 in a row after our win last night. I am going to go to the tournament. And I was playing possum a little bit because I wanted to see if Doug was taking this game because I know he likes it. And I didn't want to take it from him. But once I saw he was going NBA, I said, this is it. I'm going to go. And it's Georgia, Doug. Georgia minus 2.5 against St.
Utah
Louis.
State? Oh, that's tomorrow.
Well, that's tomorrow. But I liked this Georgia game as well. So I'm going to take them minus 2.5. I just think it's way too much offense for St. Louis tonight, and Georgia overwhelms them.
I like it because we're still going to get Georgia as one of our best bets, which I agree with, and I don't have to be mad at myself for picking them if they don't cover.
What do you got?
I'm going back to that Cody Williams prop. Honestly, Carver, I made it like 19.5 or 18.5. I don't know how they're going to get points. The Bucks play no defense, so it's not like they're facing, the Thunder, where like the scrubs of the Thunder are going to still play lockdown D. I think the Bucks are going to be a revolving door on defense. Cody Williams had a really good night the other night. Everything's going to run through him. Everything is going to run through him and Ace Bailey. I think you get there by halftime. I really do.
Wow, how about that? So Cody Williams, Jazz, over 13.5 points tonight with Georgia minus the 2.5 against St. Louis, the late game this evening, plus 278 for the daily double tonight. How about that, Doug? Put us back on the plus side, too. I see that minus 187 up there. We've been hanging around even for the last couple of weeks. Let's try to blow by that number here tonight, Doug, and get moving.
Duke's missing the front end of free throws, and somehow Siena can't get a rebound. Just pain. It's pain.
It's pain. It's that time of the year, Doug. It's great. It is March Madness, and we have gotten a good taste of it so far today in the afternoon session, and hopefully it continues through tonight and through tomorrow. Doug, we are back tomorrow, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'll, just like today, have all the games on, talk about what's happening, and get ready for the night ones as well. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, Betting Weekly Live. Of course, subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube. Enjoy all the games tonight, and we will see you back here tomorrow.